honor to have you as a guest, and thank you for joining us. Thunder, can you tell us like what's up?
Thank you for having me once again, and pleasure to see everyone, of course. It's an honor to be here once again. It's been a while, and hopefully it's going to be as enjoyable as it always has been. There have been huge changes, of course, within the path and huge transformations. One of the greatest things that I wanted to say is something that most people, when it comes to the path now, of course, don't really know or are aware of. Recently, it has been revealed to me that there are three tremendous transformations of the soul which are going to take place in different time frames when it comes to your path and at different ages. Okay, first one is within a 5-year time frame of the path working that someone has initiated within this particular current, and then it will intensify when the person is about to hit the age of 33. The second wave will be at the age of 40, and the third wave will be at the age of 60. Okay. Of course, these transformations won't be the exact same for everyone. They will be different. The path is personal for everyone. But what occurs within the first 5-year run, to my experience, is after you have been through all the transformations and the crossings possible within that time frame, and it is vital to go as hard and as fast as possible, within reason, of course, and try to transform and elevate yourself through the teachings that the Spirit will give you as much as possible. There is this thing called judgment which will take place. Now, what is this? It may sound like it's something that relates only to the above, but it's not. The exact same system, believe it or not, surprisingly to me as well, exists down there as well. So what happens is you will randomly be presented into projection where you will step into the place where the entire infernal divine is actually summoned, and you will enter this particular place that will look different for everyone. For me, it was like a huge temple, okay? And there are like seats everywhere, and you just walk into this great hall, and there's like a big, huge throne there, and it has like a big echo. It's like designed, in a way for you to speak minimally, and you can be heard like everywhere. And you will find yours truly, Mr. Satan, there. In an aspect that you've never seen before, completely unknown aspect. You will not know, you will not recognize him at first. And all the spirits that actually favor and vote for you to remain will be present. And you will be put before him. And all the points of which you are found worthy upon. And let's say you have scored with a good score to pass the tests so far, will be presented. And then he will have to make the final decision. One by one, the patrons and matrons that have favored you will appear, and then the decision will be made. There is a chance that there will be a decision which states that you will go through a second crossing and you will actually get a total shift of your path to a different current and race of spirits, which is very surprising once again. It happened to me. And I was passed from the Goetic current straight into the Jinnic current. And this is where I first met Alamar, who I didn't really recognize at first, and I was wondering who he is. So the way Alamar appeared to me in that particular moment was actually I had seen him the day before, but I still couldn't realize who he is. So I literally spent 2 days trying to figure out what it is that I keep seeing. But then, of course, the element of fire was very present, and I started sweating. And one by one, you start putting the clues together to realize who or what that thing is that you are seeing or dealing with. The way he appeared to me is he appeared kind of short-ish, okay? Pretty fat in the belly, and he had curved horns like a ram going backwards, and he was red, and he had kind of goldish tribal designs spiraling on the cheeks that were going down from the neck and covering the entire body, basically. And he walked with difficulty as he's very short. She physically in the face looks very similar to the Wishmaster. If people remember, it is an old 90s movie where there is like a big Jinn that comes around and offers 3 wishes to people and causes chaos, blah, blah. Okay, it's a Hollywood movie. And literally, he looks very similar to him physically in the face. And one brings the other. Alamar later on brought Barkan, okay, the black one, as he is known. Barkan appears very glorious in physical form. He is pretty tall and he is pretty lean and athletic and muscular. And he is completely black, with a demonic face with sharp teeth. And he has horns that go up and exceed to each left and right kind of sides. And he has orange goldenish, they shift kind of in color, the same tribals as Alamar on his cheeks and the entire body, but he is way bigger and more athletic, with a very triangular kind of shaped body, similar to Belial, but not as big, like a little bit more athletic, so to say. Belial would be more buff. What he does is he delivers, at least to me, in my experience, he delivers ghouls to you, and he will pretty much initiate you to that current and tell you that you should focus upon that, and he will assign them to you so you can learn from that particular race as well. All in all, the Genie current is very interesting as they can take your entire path in their hand and just completely shift it. You will literally go from one current to the other just like that. Boom. It also helps, of course, to have some kind of Mars attribution. Because in my case, I'm heavily attributed to Mars, born on a Tuesday, and I have some very fiery placements within the chart. Most of them actually are fire within my own chart, although I'm a water sign, which is a bit strange because I don't know many people who are fiery water signs. Yet again, it exists. Anything is possible in the occult world. These associations will bring you closer to the specific genic creature that will resonate with you more. My first experience, of course, was not with the kings. It came with Iblis. And it goes a while back. Now, Iblis, people may see Iblis as a very difficult being to deal with. In my experience, he's an extremely giving patron, if he wants to be. And he can and will assign a Jinn for each and every one of your needs to you, which you can have as a familiar for the remaining of your lifetime. And also, to my experience, he's not very demanding upon. Like, to me, he literally, like, I just went forward and I was like, I'm in need and I require this and that. Can we do something? And he gives them to me, all in one order, one after the other, as they came forth, channeled, and so on and so forth. And they are much more helpful and easier to deal with than the goetic familiars or spirits. Goetia is a pretty difficult current, from my experience. It's not easy. It's not very giving towards the human being. It's not very, in brackets, compliant. Okay. And I would personally expect to gain way more from an affiliation with the Jinn than I would gain with a goetic current, from what I have seen so far. The goetic current is best to approach not for selfish reasons or reasons that would be more ego-centered, but for alchemical transformation only. When it comes to selfish reasons, it's not really a good thing to approach the occult altogether, because no spirit will actually really want to deal with you or take you seriously. You should be seeking for cultivation of the soul and of the self, because that's where the change happens. That's what the spirits care about. You know, you come forth as a soul in need of transformation, not as a person in need of material. So then they're not going to care about that.
Okay. So I listened to you really, really carefully, and I have something to add. So you said a lot of things, so I will cover each and every manifestation from my own perspective. So basically, I was working with the entirety of the Goetia and the Clifford and stuff, and I tried a lot of modern methods and modern conjurations, but it didn't necessarily how to put it in words. I will kind of try to phrase it as effectively as possible. It was there, but something was missing. It looked like I am missing a fundamental piece of the puzzle, basically. And what I wanted to understand is I wanted to understand what I am dealing with. I wanted to understand what is happening. And I basically wanted a framework which corresponds to my experience. And I just applied my own experience over and over until the phenomenology of the thing kind of crystallized. And I came to the really interesting set of conclusions, which will kind of give a perspective on what I'm going to say about your experience. So all of the beings in the Goetia, including all of the beings in Arabic grimoires, including all of the pagan deities, when all of them come, you kind of have a same set of phenomena. You'll feel electricity, you'll feel energy of certain kind, then you feel pressure, and then you kind of start seeing a type of form or shape. And each and every energetic vibe, energetic signature has its own radiation of sorts. That's the best way to describe it, right? And then when you summon angels, what you get when you summon angels is different. When you summon angels, it almost looks like you are summoning a certain frequency of light. So it seems that all of the pagan gods and all of the Jinn and all of the Goetic spirits, they all kind of fall into the same category of existence. Now, I am not saying that they are all the same beings or the same consciousnesses or the same individuals. No, they are all their own individual type of being and creature. Even spirits who are thought to be one and the same, like Paimon and Azazel / Iblis, or Baal and Beelzebub and Belial, I experience them all as different individuals. And I think people who try to somehow see them as the same are pretty much stretching the rope. I mean, technically you can say that they are the same, but practically it's not applicable. The approach you use for Belial cannot be the same as the approach you use for Iblis, otherwise you're going to get fucked. So what is really interesting to me is you told me that basically the first Jinn who appeared to you was Al-Amr, and then Birkan in this order. Now, that's really interesting, extremely interesting. And you also said that the Goetic spirits you worked with are basically really, really not materially fulfilling for the sake of material requests, and that they are more fulfilling for other types of things. Well, when I was trying to connect with the Jinn, I also had the same type of experience with the Goetia and with the aspects of the quote-unquote Jinn current. Of course, I see them all as the Jinn, not in a sense that they are all same type of tribe or species, but they are all falling into the same category of etheric beings who are not made of light, who are kind of made of their own radiation. That's what the word Jinn originally means. It doesn't mean a specific tribe, it means an etheric being with specific radiation. And within that Jinn category, there are many, many different subspecies. In the same way that you have Serbs, you have Albanians, you have French, you have British, they are all humans, but they don't get along well, you know? I wouldn't have a good time in Tirana and you wouldn't have a good time in Belgrade. Probably you would have to deal with some idiots. So it's mostly that. You told me you kind of had a martial past in martial professions, in martial environments. So for you, heavily martial violent entities like Al-Amr or Azazel, you get along with them pretty well because you have that martial background. Somebody else without martial background, like me, when I approach them for the first time, have a really bad time, because if you don't have a strong martial presence in yourself, when you approach a hardcore martial being, you're gonna get martialed.
You will be met with resistance, is how
Yeah,
I might
yeah, yeah.
describe it to people. It helps to study one's natal chart a lot, because you have to, first of all, when you enter the path and you get a little bit more educated, you must unfold your own soul yourself to see exactly what your attributes are. And then you will know which spirits are for you. And more or less, even if you don't know, they come to you, but you cannot spend your entire path waiting for spirits to come. Eventually, you're going to start going through the list and try to see who responds and who doesn't. And that's where some part of the danger lies there, because people who are met with these energies don't always react good if they're not supposed to. That's where the whole backlash starts, when we see people who end up being, for example, let's say you have some kind of a skin issue, or you are very deficient and non-tolerant to heat, and you are not attributed to Mars in any way. You are more of a sensitive soul, more of a rhetoric soul. You are an artist, or you are a musician. They have very strong channeling abilities due to their emotionality, but they are not heavily Martian. They are not of fire. They don't resonate to that current. When you stand before the beings that resonate to this current, then your skin condition starts flaring up, your dehydration starts flaring up. You could start getting hives around your skin, because that energy is going to be very fiery and violent towards your own being, which you have some kind of sensitivity towards. And these energies will manifest physically in many ways negative. And it's not an attack per se. Most of the time, it's a bad reaction of your own body and mind towards that energy, which just doesn't resonate with you. That's why the whole insanity starts from, and the whole mental issues that people might get. Most of the time, you just connected with the wrong energy. And when it comes to the aspects, to my experience, jinns are more elemental-ish. They are not totally elemental like the Fae and other spirits that we see, who are between the world of the veiled and between us and the spirit world of the elemental Fae, which I've seen, and it's looking pretty weird-ish with weird colors and all that. Belial can actually walk you through it, as he's of the earth element. And when you go with him, you will see all these elementals. It's going to be almost like our world, but with different colors. And then all these creatures that are just flying around. And nothing likes him, actually. When you walk with him, you will see that all the Fae and all the creatures will be just flying away. Um, he's just generally not liked by the other races, from what I've seen, except from his own. His presence can even shock animals. I mean, literally, you can just walk around in a place, and if you feel him coming through very strongly, like I've been in a zoo, and I could feel him coming through once, and there was a sleeping rhino, and the thing literally, like as I stared at it and stood there, and I could feel him coming. When you get this whole feeling of boom when a spirit comes through, uh, the rhino just jumps up in fear, just goes boom, and literally stares dead right back at me, like a human, looking at me like, and I was like, what the hell happened? The dude scared Rhino. He is a very, very peculiar being. But the complexities of the spirits, yes, we can say all is one, but at the same time, they all have different incarnations and aspects that exist at the same time. Okay. Um, for example, I managed to unfold a little bit of Santa Muerte before, and her different aspects. Whereas the black aspect, known as La Negra, this aspect is the roots of the black tree that are below the tree. Okay, that's where the criminal dead reside with the La Negra. The military criminal dead, to my experience. La Roja, the red one. This would be the blood that is concentrated from all the bloodshed upon the world below the black roots of the tree. Where when you go there, you will see that under the black roots, there is like rivers of blood that kind of look like veins, canals that go down from all the blood that the earth has absorbed down from every bloodshed that has occurred on this planet, on the world, throughout the ages. So these are different aspects with different, forms and different functions, still the same being. And then it goes even deeper. Like I have been randomly given an information that Samael and Amaimon can mix into one being, which is called Samaimon. That one being is one of the rulers of the Tartarian Adobe, and he rules over one of the 5 mouths of the abyss. These mouths of the abyss opened up during the Great Flood, and they swallowed back all the waters of Noah during the Noah flood. So Noah can go back to normal, live on land, and walk around like he used to be. And the same with the animals. And he rules this being over one of these mouths of the abyss. One of the mouths of the abyss actually being parts of Cthulhu's tentacles, which he randomly also recently appeared to me. What Cthulhu actually is as a being, he is an imprint of energy upon God's left palm, on his left hand, okay? And he shall appear as 5 big tentacles that have octopus mouths on them and red eyes, okay, upon the tentacles. What Cthulhu does, or Cthulhu, I don't know how you pronounce him, he teaches a very unique way of vampirism where you may exit and project at will, and you may connect with the vibrations of a different sound around you. And we become one with that vibration. As all is vibration, we are in a hologram energy simulation, okay? We are living vibrations. So once you project and you become one with that vibrational energy, then you can literally vamp anything that is around that vibration at the same time and take it within, also known as people.
So basically, you are talking about temporizing energy currents, right? So you're basically going to trance, and then you connect to an energy current, and then you just pull the current instead of pulling a limited source of energy. Something similar was taught. Yeah, something similar was taught to me when I worked with the more traditional Slavic procedures. So what I am really interested in is your work with Cthulhu specifically, like how you see him, what he is, etc.
That was a random occurrence. She literally appeared out of nowhere. And it was at the best time, because there's always timings that these spirits come. Because everything, I believe that it is forewritten for us to be in different places at different times. I happened to be on a flight abroad, and I was on the plane. And I ended up being right next to the engine, and of course, all you can hear, for hours is, but that is a strong vibrational energy that is going through that particular piece of equipment or piece of energy, as everything is energy, that we have created. So when he came, I literally just passed out within seconds. And then I saw him coming out as these tentacles within the darkness. And he explained what exactly they are. It was like big 5 tentacles with these red eyes and the things. And he taught me to project at will within seconds if I set my target on. And he literally showed me how to, as I am out of my body, like I could literally see everything. I was literally hovering on top of the bleeding plane, and I could see all these people. And he told me how to merge with the vibration of the plane that is just going, just merge into that. Because as a soul, you're ethereal. So you can disperse yourself into the vibration of sound. And you can open up all your chakras at the same time, like his tentacles in the mouth and his tentacles, and then just vibrate together with the sound. And then you take. Now, when I woke up, it was crazy because I felt so light, like I had no body when I was back in my body. And I just started bulking and bulking from all the bumped energy that my double brought back into my body. And I'm sitting there literally going physically. And I'm like thinking, this is batshit crazy. But it felt amazing. I felt awesome. Like you feel so light. You feel like you have no bones, no skeleton. It's like, that's how I can describe that a powerful spirit would feel in his ethereal form. Because they have no body, they're just ethereal, but at the same time they appear big. So a powerful spirit would be feeling very full of a lot of powerful air energy, so to speak, if I can put it in words. But it was crazy, yeah. And I practiced it later on, of course. I tried it in public transport, do it again with that sound, and I just started going out, boom, second, boom, and then again. And it just works every time now.
Okay, okay, it was really cool. So, how one can approach Cthulhu to work with him? What kind of offerings to give? When to summon him, and what time? How to prepare, etc.
Cthulhu is generally, I wouldn't say for everyone. You must have a specific type of understanding and transformation first, okay? But for the more advanced people, I do have a sigil in the making. I still haven't made it public because I've been very busy. Um, but there are two ways to do it. Best way would be very similar to Leviathan, as he's of the black water element, the black sea of chaos. Okay. It would be best to go into the sea and to try and not in the sea, at the beach. Okay, not within the water. You stay outside and try to use your finger to draw his form of tentacles, like I will make it later public. And in the center, as he appears like a big black dark mass, and that's where the tentacles come from, you would put a drop of your blood, and then you would summon him there, and he will come. Um, Generally, he's not very picky. I mean, nice incenses would please him, but if you can find something relating to ocean scent or trees, things that you will find close to the beach, like pine trees, they enjoy things like that that are more nature connected, nature wise. Not flowers or anything like that. You know, just something that smells more oceanish, so to say. Um, if you cannot find beach sand for him, or alternatively, desert sand like we would for the jinn, to put a red candle within and make a little mountain and carve their names in Arabic or sigils if you have any, and bloody them and some of them, that would be for the jinn ideal. You can always substitute generally with some graveyard dirt and do the same. Okay. Um, I would generally try to find water, place a glass of water, okay? If you can literally like take any glass, small like this, doesn't need to be like a pocket, and you can put it inside the little mountain of the graveyard dirt in a pot, keep it there. If you have some kind of a color, which you can throw in the water, mix it up so the water goes black, and then you can drop a little blood drop within the water, and then you can summon Cthulhu like this, and you can keep your hands closed and channel that energy, throw it in there. You will see it as colorless coming in if you have your eyes set open, and the water will start to either vibrate and move, or you will just see him coming out of the black. Black water or any kind of black ink ish is very ancient. You can channel many spirits in that way. It is a practice that has been used both in the Eastern Arabic world for channeling jinn, and it generally resonates with a lot of spirits, but mostly the spirits of the black water, of the Black Sea of
Yeah,
Chaos.
yeah.
Call it black water because I've seen it like that.
So basically, today I was in the sea. Actually, I am at the sea now,
Oh,
pretty close to the sea. I was swimming, and so during swimming, you kind of get tired, and so you kind of spontaneously fall into trance. And what usually happens then is you see spirits below you, and majority of those entities who live in the water are not interested in operating with humans, like talking to humans, being around humans, speaking to humans. They are generally really uninterested, and they basically demand a form of payment to interact. And this is what people don't understand. Those beings don't exist for you. They don't exist for their own uh, purpose in your life. They exist for themselves, and they have their own agendas. And so, what people don't understand.
kind of frozen there for a second.
Hello?
Yeah, now you're back. Yeah,
Are you there?
yeah, I'm
We are
here.
back. My phone overheated for a second, so I have to make my phone cool down a little bit. But recording is still on. I will edit these parts out, basically. So
Yeah, no problem.
what you said is that basically what I wanted to say is that those entities don't exist for us. They exist for themselves. And so in order to work with them, interact with them, you have to invest serious effort to do that, basically. So what is like your experience, how you obtained the ability to work with them and interact with them like a partner? Like what tests you had to pass through?
Ooh, my introduction, as I've said, of course, in way older videos within um, the both interviews and within my own channel as well, was not a good one. It was a very violent one, unfortunately, and it almost costed my life. Okay. When you open the door to these beings, you are literally opening up negative situations to manifest against you. And it's a very Colosseum sort of method of testing people. Because once you willingly open up that door, they have legal rights to hurt you. Okay. And nobody will stop them. Um, I mean, the above won't interfere when it comes to this because we are the ones who open these doors. Um, at the same time, they've always been there. We just weren't aware of them at a younger age. So that's not going to be for everyone. But those who resonate will know exactly what I'm talking about. Anything can manifest.
Okay.
I mean, you may have to fight for your life. You may have a random attack happen on the street, like it happened to me. You may be hospitalized. You may have your guts ripped out. You know, these things will happen. You could be subdued to some kind of sexual abuse if you're a woman. Okay, I've met people who have been initiated this way, and these things have happened to them. And a while down the line, after working with these spirits for a while, then they revealed to them that yes, it was me who did it. And there is nothing nice or funny about this, honestly. Like people romanticize this path a lot. They make it sound like it's nothing. It's easy. It's for everyone. Anyone can get into it. You'll be fine. It's not like that. This path has been feared for centuries from humanity for a reason, you know? And people should know this.
Yes, yes, I agree with you. It can get tough. But okay, how did you increase your ability to see them? How did you increase your astral senses, basically?
In my case, due to having been in negative places, I could always see. I mean, I've had encounters with ghosts. I've had encounters with the dead before. I have seen them in places where a lot of death has taken place, where a lot of people have been tormented and died. And I noticed that when I see these shadowy people, I can also somehow see them in my mind as if they were when they lived. And they would show you bits and pieces of their life in that place before they have died. Okay. But not of their general life, only of their life in that negative place where they died and why exactly they were there, what brought them there to begin with. I have never been attacked by the dead. Um, Maybe this has something to do with my affiliation with necromancy past lives, which I have found out a few years within the past later on. But I was never attacked by them. They always communicated with me. And even the most aggressive of them were, I'm not going to say loving or friendly, but they were very neutral towards me. They never gave me any hostility or friendship. They just more or less introduced themselves, and that's it. So I never really had problems with the ghosts, as we call them. And also, the necromantic path, when it comes to the Death Lord, was always way more welcoming towards me than, so to say, the goetic system was.
Okay. So because I am right now in a Venus phase of my life where I work with Venus a lot, what is your experience with Venus? Do you have any extensive experience with that?
Aphrodite, as I call her, due to the Greek affiliation. I mean, I've spent pretty much most of my lifetime in Greece. I was educated in Greece. She appears to me personally as a very slim, beautiful female with white glowing skin and very thin, short, thin, straight blonde hair and blue-eyed, and is very, very petite and small. Tends to dress in either, like in very human form, she has like a blue-ish pullover or robes, kind of godish, like ancient Greek, like. And she either has blue human eyes or completely blue shining eyes. Okay, kind of like darker to what I'm wearing. Okay, not the same, but a little bit darker. I have seen mostly her love aspect, not the war aspect. So the war aspect I tend to get from the male spirits. Okay, Alamar, Asmodeus. Okay, all the heavily fiery Azazel, the heavily fiery warlike spirits. Belial. The one and only. She teaches a lot about relationships with people, about understanding others, women, of course, mostly, about interpreting and, let's say, translating emotions into the male mind, because we have some natural difficulty with understanding these things. We are created different. We use a part of the brain of each time, one for reason and speech and one for emotion. Females use it both at the same time. That's why they're more easy to express themselves. We do not do that, and we have difficulty understanding these things. Venus, Aphrodite can help a lot with these things and can also, of course, bring very valuable people to you, not only for the sake of romance, but as well as social relationships. So if you lack in that sector, she will also teach you how to be more social and approachable towards people.
Yes, but what are like your results with her? Some anecdotes, some results.
Well, she will approach people differently if they are ever approached by this spirit, but it's more of a romantic nature. She will make you very magnetic. She will make you more bold in your approach, and more or less, she will give you a partner. Believe it or not, she's very, very good at this. She can do it. I mean, you will be at the right time without knowing it, at the right place at the right time. And things are just going to be extremely divine when that occurs. Like it's just gonna go like bread on butter, boom. And it's gonna be overall one of the nicest experiences. And if you've been in this path for a while, you will see that one of the side effects you may have will be some kind of apathy. Okay. Because some spirits may either take a piece or the entire heart chakra from you as an offering, believe it or not. They can and will do that. With or without your offering, okay? Sometimes it has happened. I've seen it. And you will have some difficulty in the department of feelings and love, okay? It will be difficult to feel because you will be left pretty numb from all these dark transformations because they do that. These transformations will manifest through the mind, okay? And they will have some physical effect upon your character. Your character will change. So Venus can bring all that back, and you will more or less feel like you were given your humanity back in a way.
Okay, so how can Venus be approached? What offerings should be given? What colors? Things of that nature.
The expensive and best, more strong way would be to visit one of the ancient temples in either Rome or Greece. Okay. I did that with Poseidon when I channeled him and he appeared to me. I didn't even know I was in his temple. I was just going when that occurred. But of course, not everyone's gonna be able to do that. Get something that resonates more for the love aspect. Okay. That resonates more to pink color, which she loves. Try and decorate an altar and give it as an offering to her, which she really likes. Okay, these the current of the Pantheon of Greece, so to say, or Roman, they like the individuality. If you have an altar, have it for them only. Have a corner for them. It doesn't need to be only for one specific deity of that pantheon. You can mix them, but have an altar only for that pantheon. Don't mix them together with everything else. Okay, they don't like that. A pinkish candle is great. Her statue is a must. Okay, it does not need to be a huge 2 meter thing. Okay, you can literally get something small and go very far with it. I have small statues of this. Get also a small statue of a specific ancient temple. Okay, I have basically the temple of Zeus also as part of that particular altar, which I have devoted to these spirits, which symbolizes the house and source of creation of all the spirits, because the house of Zeus symbolizes the creation of, let's call him the All Father, the God, the creator of everything, because all pantheons have a creator of everything, and his house is where all the spirits were created. So if you can get that with the red, a pink candle, and some pinkish, yellowish, and whitish colored flowers and incenses, she will adore this. She loves honey, she loves cinnamon, all things that are sweetish and invitish towards a female spirit and deity. See it as trying to create a lovely atmosphere for a lovely lady that is going to visit you. And then you will have a very beautiful pinkish energy, so to say, setting to invite her. And she will, of course, come through the statue that you will have. The statue is to be your main priority of focus to summon her. You may add a little bit of blood drop in the eyes of the statue, and that is going to be a direct link when you ritualistically summon that spirit to host its energy for as long as you have that altar there. Okay, that's a specific effigy item will always be infused.
Okay. So, because you have a really extensive experience with Greek Pantheon, I honestly didn't know that. This is the first time I hear it. So, what is the main difference between Greek entities and Goetic entities? Because a lot of people relate them or connect them. What is your opinion on that?
Greek and what entities?
Goetic, Greek and Goetic.
Ooh, I mean, I don't want to piss off people, but more or less, I can say that they are aspects of each other as well, but they are not the same. It's a completely different current, yes. But they do have shared elements. I mean, let's say we have a cave here and we have a cave here, round caves, okay? There is a tunnel between the two caves. Each cave is its own. The caves are not together. They are separate. But both caves have a tunnel which connects them. You know? And if you are to put water to flood them, the same water is going to be flowing at the same cave. If I can put this, visualization so people can understand. The spirit can switch sides and can have many masks. It's like I can be the same person, but I can change my hair, I can grow a beard, and I can change clothes, and I can look like someone else each and every time you see me. You know, I can become a master of transformation and faces, but I'm still the same guy.
Okay. So, to put it shortly, related but not the same. It's
All
like you and your cousin.
But all is separate at the same time.
Yeah. It's like you and your cousin. There is an element of sameness, but you and your cousin is your cousin. Okay. So basically, who is like the first Greek entity you started working with?
The very first that ever appeared to me, and I was very shocked to see that existed in Israel, was Hecate, or also known as Hecate in the original language. Okay, A very beginner-friendly spirit, a tremendous figure of power. People give Hecate, I mean, she does get a lot of coverage and credit, but somehow people don't see her as this tremendous force of power. She's more portrayed as a beautiful guide, as a mother, because of the aspects that people see in her. They see, you know, the sweet daughter, the sweet mother, the sweet grandma, the crone, and so on and so forth. Whereas when you see Belial, you see a big powerhouse, you know, you see like a big war-like deity full of armors and everything, you know. That couldn't be further from the truth. Actually, Hecate is a way bigger powerhouse, believe it or not. Although she's not as warlike as Belial may appear and intimidating, she's a way bigger powerhouse and rules over way, way, way more aspects of the underworld and the tree of death than the others do, believe it or not.
Yeah, I have the same impression that Hecate, for whatever reason, in the world of the Jinn/spirits, has much bigger authority than, let's say, Lilith or Belial, or even Lucifer to a degree. Hecate really its own powerhouse. But
she has the keys to everything. She's not limited like the others, you know. Literally, being in the crossroads means you can open any door.
yes. So this is like interesting. You are really chthonic practitioner. What is like your experience with Zeus?
This particular spirit I haven't met yet. I don't think I will, because I keep a very open mind when it comes to these pantheons about the creator of all. And with my experience when I met him, I know that I didn't meet his entire essence, because you cannot do that. Because if you are to stand within God's energy, you will burn. Okay, your very being would burn, your soul would burn, everything would burn. I've only met a tiny aspect of him when I saw him physically, and he ripped the world open, and he literally shoved his face in, and all I can see is this golden light dude staring back down at me. Needless to say, I was scared, and I couldn't even say a word. I was just sitting there like, what is going on? Because it was in the middle of the day. I was just working on my laptop. I wasn't even performing a ritual. Uh, that was the Ilioen aspect. Okay, he's literally him with the beard and the hair, and he's made of golden light, and he's huge. I mean, you would be this small in his palm. That's how big he is. Like, I saw these fingers rip the ceiling open, and it was like a curtain, like an energy curtain. He didn't rip the world physically. My ceiling didn't break, but he ripped it open like it's a curtain. And that's when I realized this is an energy hologram. Like, I was like, how did he open it like this? Like, it wasn't even solid, you know, it was like a curtain, literally. So that's when I started realizing things. But no, I don't think I will ever meet Zeus, because, I mean, I've seen the creator of all, but we could say that when you do see these particular beings, let's say I meet Zeus, okay, let's say I meet Odin, I would pretty much understand that it is yet another aspect of the creator in a different form as well. Because he can have many aspects as well. I mean, I know of a case of one person who was very in denial of his image. He perceived his image to be what he wanted to be. He wanted a human image, and he would not accept anything else. So he did appear to him, but he appeared to him as some kind of a humanoid dinosaur, just to screw with him. And then that person is running left and right, contacting every angel on the map. Okay? And each and every one of them reassured him that no, it was him, you're not mistaken, and you are not losing it, because he would not believe it. He was going bananas. Okay? And then they all said the same thing. Why is it so hard for you to accept it? Is it just because of the image? Is that it?
Yes. So basically,
It's a
okay,
trickster.
we have to basically put this interview slowly to a close. So, what do you have to say for the end to people who want to work with Greek Pantheon in general, like some general guidelines?
Get the statues, effigies. Cleanse the effigies. Use the correct colors to that energy planetary if you know them. Use the incenses, oils, and your own blood in mix upon these effigies and the candles that you may use to prepare your altars for these beings and keep them together all in one. Okay? Do not mix them with anything from the chthonic system, from the Jinnic system. Keep one corner for each current, and you're just gonna be fine. They're pretty easy to approach. Um, Use the planetary ways of Solomon to connect to each and every one of them. Okay. For Aphrodite, you're going to use the days and hours of Venus, of course. For Hecate, Hades, use the Saturn ways. For Aries, okay, which I've also connected with, use the Mars days and times and correspondences and so on and so forth. And you're just going to have a lot of success because it's very easy. Planetary energies, and this particular current is heavily attributed to planetary energy. It's not that difficult to connect with. It's one of the easiest currents to connect with, actually. And very beginner friendly,
Okay,
by the way.
so basically, because we are on the day of moon, Monday, right? What you can say about working with the moon?
Moon, according to its phases and times, great for Hecate. It's great for necromantic rituals that I use. Great for connecting with the dead. Great for crossroads work. Okay. If you're with a Loa person, also great for connecting with the Loa, Father Elegua, Samedi, Mama Brigitte, some of the figures which I've met. Great time to do offerings. Okay. I would specifically lean towards either full or dark moon. Okay. Full moon is great when it comes to the sonic current for abundance. Okay. You may grab some coins, 3 coins, go in the graveyard, place them as a triangle, shove your offerings in the ground. You're going to have tremendous success. Sprinkle some alcohol to the dead, leave an incense. They will most likely follow you as well when you reach home, empower you, and they're pretty friendly as they're ex-humans, so they understand you and they communicate with you way easier than ancient spirits would. You don't have to be as typical or as complicated with them, with the human beings. The ancient ones require a different approach. Humans, if they are of good nature, when they come around, they are some of the most beneficial spirits to work with. Very similar to angels, I can say. Actually, even more helpful.
Yes, yes. I have the same experience pretty much with the dead. They are really approachable and they are really human-like. They don't lose human qualities, indeed. So, last question for this interview, because you are Albanian and it's really interesting for me. Have you ever tried any of traditional Albanian magical procedures and stuff like that? Have you ever familiarized yourself with that?
Not really, no. Because as I say, the path is personal, so I take it as it comes to me. More or less, it's forewritten. I don't think it's good to try and go into each and every current just for the sake of it. Okay? Because you're going to end up with conflicting energies upon you, which are going to not necessarily hurt you, but they will neutralize other transformations and energies. Because as we all know, you need plus and minus to attract. But when you put too many magnets together, what's going to happen? Some will attract, others will push away. It's going to be a mess, It's not going to mix good. You need something compact, solid. And also, it doesn't really matter where you're from this life. You have to understand who you've been in previous ones too. I've been different nationalities. I mean, I've been Brazilian. I've been American. They call them Indians. I like to call them American because they are the true Americans, the ones that were there before everyone else. So I've been through different currents, yes, but I don't only look at myself as who I am now as a human. I look at myself as a soul of who I've been before and who I've come to be in this place. I mean, I've been English as well. I've been French. Throughout the ages and different incarnations, I've seen different lives and patterns, And it's funny you will see that in most of your lives, you look very similar to what you look now, but not the same person. It's just extremely similar.
Yeah, that is interesting. I had some similar insights on my own. Okay, thank you, Sander, for
put out when it comes to the dead. Practice ethical necromancy, not unethical. Don't try to do takeovers and to force the souls of the dead to do what you want against their will, without offerings, simply for the sake of it. Then it can get worse than demonic attachment. Okay, so bear that in mind. Don't do takeovers. Try to be nice to the dead, and don't rip souls out from the ground just for the sake of it without any offering or friendly approach.
Yes, yes. Okay, so close the show. Can you tell us some basics of necromancy? And have you ever mixed necromancy with Greek Pantheon, and how?
It does go hand to hand with the correct spirit if it remains chthonic. Okay, of course, I would not approach Samedi as I approach Akati, but the main element is there. I would do it always at night. I would do it always on a Saturday. I would always find a graveyard that has the correct energy. Not every graveyard is appropriate. You have to feel the energy coming out. Some graveyards don't have as much energy as others, and the portal function which they bear is not as strong. Another thing that Ekati may make you do is to travel around the world to different sites that her ancient devotees have used to perform rituals to her. And this spirit has many, many different names around the planet, okay? In many, many cultures, actually, just known with different names, but it's still the same spirit, same aspect. And there, what happens is you may summon these devotees, okay, through a ritual in that ancient place, and they will come, and then you can always use that particular place as a portal to astral project there and to receive knowledge, information, transformations from that place. And of course, these devotees, their souls will come and help you if you are to summon them, and you will be familiar with them. Okay, so honestly, mixing the chthonic beings of that current is not an unhealthy thing to do. It goes well hand in hand, yes. But as always, correct approaches to be followed, and some small details here and there which people learn with experience.
Okay, so thank you, Sander, for being with us, and we will talk again soon.